Welcome to Prosperity in a Pandemic. And we're excited to continue to bring these positive stories right now. We know many people have been affected through what's going on, and we have some folks that are being able to help more people, support more people, and then they're able to thrive during this time. So we really want to bring this story. And so today is going to be no different than our other episodes. My guest today, I'm super excited to have her, Stephanie Vedder. She's a marketing consultant, and with her business, she's in the top 5% in the United States, even right now during what's going on. And so I'm excited to share these things. And I just want to mention before we dive into the questions that we're also going to be doing a Wow Client Webcast coming up, where we're going to go even deeper on some of the things that Stephanie and I are going to discuss. And we're doing it absolutely free. It's our give to help folks. And it's not fluff. It's actually tangible things that you could take into your business right now. And we hope to even give you some of that right now today. So welcome, Stephanie. Thanks for being here with me.
Thanks for having me, Steve. I'm excited to see you and be part of the show.
Well, I'm going to dive right in. So when you noticed that the pandemic was, that it was becoming a pandemic, that it wasn't something short, that this was going to be more of a marathon and wasn't going away, what became most important for you?
I remember that moment. It was intense, and I think there was, grief, and there was worry and fear and concern. And what became important to me was just to reach back to some of the teachings, a lot of the things that I learned from you through mentorship, and just to remember to keep some of the fundamentals in place. It was really easy in those moments to say, oh man, I'm just going to throw on my yoga pants and try to do some work, or I'm just going to, take time off and this is the time to cool my jets. And it was really easy to sort of sink into that mindset. But I don't know, I kept seeing you, and I just kept knowing that like I had to reset every day, sometimes multiple times a day when things would take over me. And so simple things like, planning my day out the night before so that I knew exactly what I was going to accomplish that next day and what my goals were was a huge piece of it. To continue some of my work on mindset, to continue with meditation, to get out and walk. And I think one of the things that I do a lot that you taught me was to have some theme songs, to have some music that actually really inspires you and fires you up. And so I would turn on that playlist and just, I don't know, I think it was a lot of different things, but also my family, being here. I've always worked from home, but having them be here every day and just knowing that I had to put on the face, like, let all the, the fear and all the worry and the unknown and all of that take over me, because they were depending on me, like they were relying on me. And so having that motivation in front of you all the time was just a really big driver for sure.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing. And I do want to explore some of those moments where you had to reset, because I think that's important to share. But before we do that, I'm just really curious, in all of this, now that we've been going through this for half a year almost here, about 6 months, what would you say you would call the biggest success that you've had during this period of time?
Sure. I think, just I like to tell people that right now, my biggest focus is to help people solve problems. So many small businesses are being affected right now, whether they are looking to transition into something new, whether they're trying to come up with ideas and new ways. I just really started having conversations with people and trying to help them solve problems. So, I've always had different marketing tools in my toolbox and solutions that I could offer people, but some of those things weren't what was needed at the time. And so it was just, having conversations with people, asking them what they needed and, giving them what they wanted. So I literally started putting together offers and programs and solutions that were going to meet people where they were, and just tried to give as much value as I could. And the other piece of that too was just trying to figure out, what am I worth? What is this? I sort of just created out of nothing and scary, but it felt right. And people were excited to work with me, and people just started to want to work with me. It was kind of crazy. It felt surreal for a little bit, but it also feels really good.
Beautiful. So you're setting up these programs and these different things. You listened to where they were and you met them where they were, and then you've been able to help them transcend through these programs and be able to help people. And you're finding that more people are wanting help. And when you had all of that come about, I'm curious, what is having that do for you?
It's just given me a new level of confidence that I can go out and try new things, and that people do want to work with me and that they do see value in what I have to offer. I think, for years I undervalued what I had to give people and what my experience was worth. And I'm not doing that anymore. I know what I bring to the table. I know I still have a lot to learn, but I think, working with more people that's inspired me to be better, to learn more, to, hone my skills, whatever that is. And it just really is a confidence booster.
That's beautiful. And just so we can help more, I do want to explore, and thank you for sharing this and being open to share what was it like before this success that you're having now? If you could just share, maybe one or two of the biggest challenges that you had prior to having this upward swing, and to boat during this pandemic, you're having this upswing. So before all that success, which we'll go back to in a minute, because I want to ask you some more questions. But what would you say is the one or two biggest challenges that were affecting you before?
Well, I think my downfall was that I would say yes to almost any project. I think I was living in a place of scarcity where, if somebody wanted to work with me, even if it didn't feel right, even if I didn't feel like the solution was perfect, I just had this overwhelming need to help people. If I liked somebody, I wanted to help them. And I maybe took on clients that were not the perfect fit for me, whether it was personality, whether it was, solutions, whatever that might be. I just didn't have enough room to have the types of wow clients that I wanted. I mean, now I choose who I want to work with, and I, I just the relationships and the partnerships that I have now are so much more meaningful. They're more enjoyable. They're more profitable. It's just been a whole life changing mindset switch.
Beautiful. And
It's
and I
amazing.
just to go back, I want to explore so many things here. So I have so many what you just said, there's like multiple follow-up questions, but
I
let's
know.
go back to the challenge for a moment, and then we'll go back into some of the things that have changed so you could have this success, because I want to share that with
Yeah.
everyone here. But when you were in that point of just taking the clients that were coming your way, even if they weren't the right fit, and you kind of knew that, but you were taking them, how was that affecting you?
It was stressful. I often just didn't feel like I was winning. I wasn't able to really grow my business because I was working with not enough of the right people. And I just had anxiety. I felt defeated. This is just, I guess, where I have to expect and look forward to. And it was sad. I mean, I was frustrated and I didn't feel like I had options. I didn't feel like I could really dream and have big goals about what I wanted. I just sort of had settled into well, this is what it is. Um, yeah, I don't know. It sounds really simple, like, oh, just go out there and work with the kind of people you want, or, charge what you're worth. It's very simple things, but very hard to adopt wholeheartedly if you don't really believe in yourself. So
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know, I had a lot of doubt, felt like I wasn't good enough. I constantly compared myself to other people. I mean, so many things going
right.
on there.
Well,
Yeah.
and thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that. And I think we're not alone. Like, I know I've been there feeling exactly the way that you are and that you had felt, and so many other people. So by us sharing these stories, it shows that we can overcome this if we choose to. And I do want to explore that. And also, just for context, maybe share a little bit. We talked about you as a marketing consultant, but maybe if you can share a little bit about your business, just so we understand exactly what you do, that would be great.
I've been in a marketing role for the last 16 years. I started out in direct mail, and I've been in online marketing for the past 11 years. I work who are either just getting started or don't know what to do, or looking for that blueprint going to do to market themselves online, or maybe they have started doing things online. They've started with social media, they have their website, they've been trying to get themselves to show up on Google, and they're just not having success. They're spinning their wheels, they're wasting time and money, and they're just not having the success that they want. Or I've got people who are just looking to take things to the next level. They're having some success, but they really want to figure out how to get that edge. Like, how do I take it to the next place? And so when I work with those folks, I'm either able to run marketing campaigns for them, or I'm able to coach them and show them, what a marketing strategy looks like, and what things that they can do in their own business to accomplish those goals, and build their web presence, drive more visits into their website, and how to craft their messaging in a way so that they're also doing the same thing. They're attracting the types of projects and clients and customers that they want as well. So
Well, that's beautiful. And right now I tell often, because I have a deep marketing background, as you know, and the thing that I do know about the 2008 recession and prior other crises, that in these times it's more critical to have better strategy. Like when everything is great and the economy is great, you can throw money at things and have some results. And then when money is tighter, we have to be even more strategic. So having your alliance with you and being able to guide folks so that they can risk less by having a good plan, I can see how this would be. And does that tie in maybe, I know you're really passionate about this. What would you say your core purpose is around all of this?
So, one thing that's happened this year that has really become clear to me is there's a group of, um, I guess, business owners out there that I'm really well suited to help. Moms, or the mompreneur. So, my core purpose is really to help those moms thrive in their business and in their lives. As a working mom myself, and is also trying to build that business while raising and providing family. So much that comes with that. I mean, forget like just being an entrepreneur and putting yourself out there and what that looks like. Um, at the same time, I get what they're going through, and I get what they need, and I speak their language, and I just feel a calling to really help and support and provide for those types, for those women out there that are in the same place as me. And so, when we work together, sometimes it's giving them that next big thing that they can do for their marketing, first the whole strategy, and then finding those ideas that come within that they can really get behind and get excited about. And sometimes it's just being their cheerleader. It's very interesting to see how when people start to put themselves out there and they're on social media, like how all this stuff comes up for them, where they just, they're going through the same stuff that I went through. They don't have the confidence. They're worried about what other people are going to say. And so sometimes it's just being there for them and saying, you've got this, and you're amazing, and we're going to do this together, and I'm here for you, and I'm right by your side, and you're not alone. And so I think that that's been really helpful to people, and it's been amazing for me too. I did get just as much from them as they get from me. So it's very fulfilling.
It's interesting how we can be the student and the teacher at the same time, and there's
Yes.
so much overlap because you are a mompreneur as well, right? So you're able to share that being a mom yourself and being a working mom. How does that work? And then with everything going on right now, and so many children being homeschooled, all these changes happening, I can see how this can be tremendous, even more than in the past. So it's like your services were already valuable, and now bringing this to this situation, I can see how this is even more important. So it's so beautiful. And also we're having folks from all around the world. So you, just to put context as well, you're in the San Francisco Bay Area, like on the peninsula. And then I wanted to dive into these successes now. And thank you so much for everything you shared. And if anything else pops up, let's just bring it out here into the show. But I'm curious, with where you are now and the success you're having and the time that we've worked together, what would you say if we start to break down a few things so we can give some tips out there for folks? What's the number one thing that you've learned with our time together that's made an impact in your success right now?
Gosh, there's so many things. How do I break it down to
Well, maybe
one?
we have enough time. We have a little bit of time. We might be able to do more than
Uh,
one, but let's
yeah.
just start with one or two. What are the biggest ones that we can start to share and break down for folks so they can get a little insight?
Yeah. I've proven it to myself time and time again. It's really how you start your day. What does that morning routine look like? It's the foundation of everything you put on top of it, all the other responsibilities, all the other meetings, everything that you have. And so for me, getting outside at the beginning of the day, going for a walk to clear my head, really taking that time to hold space for just the people that I was going to interact with throughout the day. All the fears and the worries, the concerns to just melt away, and then sort of a cleat to do my meditation, to journal, to read, to be, and then make time for family before my day even starts. If I can get all that in, I'm winning all day. So I think it was reinforced to me time and time again, the emphasis of like how you start your day and how important that is. And I can, not that I'm perfect about it, but I'm pretty consistent now, because I know that even if I'm tired in the morning and that alarm goes off, if I don't get up and jump out of bed and get excited, then it's not going to be good. It's not going to be a good day. Not that it's not going to be good, but it's not going to be as amazing as it could.
Right. And when you have a taste of that, then why do you go away from it? And you're right. It's so simple. You alluded to this early in the interview here, is that there's simple things that make such a big change. And obviously I've seen this, and that's why I've shared it with you and many others. When you have that start to your day and you have that time to reflect, to meditate, to do all those things, what does having that do for you?
It just allows me to go into my day not rushed. I think, especially as a working mom, it's really easy. You're trying to get yourself ready, you're trying to get the family ready. And now, especially with this homeschooling thing, you're trying to get everybody else ready to get done what they need to do. It can be very rushed and very hectic and very morning time. And, if I can get done all the stuff like taking care of me, getting centered, getting patient, all of that before the day starts, then I'm able to not just serve my family, but all of my clients and any, future prospects that I have. And so if I really want to bring my best self to the table, I need to take care of myself first.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm just happier. Just a happier
It's so
person.
amazing. Thank you. It's so amazing, and it's so simple, like even when we go on a commercial airline, and hopefully we'll get to do that again. But, and I know some people are starting to fly, but it's a lot less. But ultimately, when
Yeah.
you put that, they always say, put the air mask on you first, because if you start helping others and then you're passed out on the floor, who are you going to help? And so it goes back to the story, there you are with your family, and there's so many things to do. And so many of us, and I've done it too, you wake up and you're like, okay, I got to take care of all these things. And you don't take care of you first. And then that has a ripple effect in the opposite direction that we want. And it seems selfish at the beginning. I know when I first started meditating, I was still working a lot and I was still changing my life. And I started to meditate, and my wife was like, oh, now you're going to meditate, another thing to be away from the family, and it was like this thing. And then as I had to veto that, I just had this strong calling. And so if I didn't cave in on that, I stayed with it and I kept meditating. And then after a period of time, and I think it was less than a year, I would say maybe even 6 to 8 months, I was doing it pretty consistently. And I remember one Sunday, I had like slept in and didn't meditate. And I went to the table to have a brunch with my family. And then shortly into the meal, I can't remember exactly what happened, but my son looked at me, and he was quite young at the time, probably about 5 or 6 years old. He's like, Dad, did you meditate today? And I was like, no.
Called
And
out.
he said, I can tell that you didn't, and and he was so innocent and like just telling. And then my wife's like, yeah, I can too. And then after that, it was like did you meditate? You're like, it was like, go meditate. Like, like,
Yeah. You go.
and that, yeah. And then I had that permission to just give it my all. And it did change my life. And so it wasn't this selfish thing. It was actually, okay, let me be whole. Let me find, because we're such in a fast paced society that if we don't give that pause to reflect, then it makes everything else more complicated. And especially in this time, we might give up on this. Like, okay, I've got all this going on and all this change. I've got to do this. And then we eliminate that simple thing that can make such a change in our life, So
it doesn't take long at all to do it. And the benefits are just amazing. I don't know. Yeah, I can see that. And they're smart and they pick up on things and they notice so much more than you would ever think. And I can tell you that the mom guilt thing is real. I'm going to lose my cool with them, or if I don't give them enough time because I'm rushing or doing something, I feel that is just the worst. If I have this tool, why would I not use it every day?
It's I totally understand. I know there's moments of me being a dad and I'm like, oh, what did I just do? Like, oh my gosh, and then we're not going to be perfect parents, but at least we're noticing when that does happen, because some parents don't even notice that they're doing it and how they're affecting their children. So I'm grateful for that. And then it allows us to continue to be better. And, one thing I feel like I should say, and maybe you can add to this, is that meditating is not sitting there like a monk, and clearing your mind of it is, that's meditation too. But for me, meditation is just reflection. It's very active. It's almost like a visualization in my mind. And so meditation is different for everyone. I once was with an Australian meditation coach, and he said, if you don't meditate, take longer showers, because, you're in your mind. And that's why even like going for a walk, like you said, you're just giving some pause to reflect. Even that is meditative. And that's why people get runner's high too. Like people go run, they're just giving themselves space to reflect and get inside. Right. And so for you, like, what has meditation been, so that it made it simple enough for you to do it and do it consistently? If you could shed just a little light on that.
I'm still using an app called Calm, and they have a 10-minute daily meditation, and it's guided. And so there's about half of it where it's not, but it starts out with a little, a lesson, a teaching, and some goals. And then you do get to that point where you're just kind of sitting there and creating that space. And then it wraps up with, something that sort of pulls it all together. And I'll use that one pretty much every morning. Sometimes I'll do other, if it's just one of those days. And you can find different meditations based on whatever the feeling is. So if it's anxiety, stress, sleeplessness, gratitude, challenges, and meditate around those, or you could meditate towards whatever the goal is. Like, what do you see? And it's, it just calms me down. I move very fast. So just to sit down and be present, and like you said, just make space for whatever amazing, what kind of ideas and things just come to you when you just stop for a minute and just
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Can't say enough about it.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And then just we're coming. We've got about 7 or so minutes here. I want to jam pack a few more things in here while we're finishing. But it's curious. So with having this start to your day and having this mindset structure, I also want to brag about you a bit here. But you have with the company that you work with for supporting marketing services, you are in the top 5% in the United States right now. And this is out of hundreds of other practitioners and storefronts. What would you say has allowed you to keep that? Because you've even grown. So you're growing during this period of time in 2020 when a lot of people are like, oh no. And I know you had that. We talked about that, but then you've been able to switch your mindset and change. What would you say, besides the morning routine, what's been another thing that's allowed you to propel this success during this time?
Mm-hmm. It's just been my whole approach to how I clients, like how I meet people, where I'm putting myself, the kind of conversations that I'm having. I've had the title of now Diamond Elite Sales Professional, which is kind of cool. That's that 5% of, I think, a thousand of us. But to, man, I'm going to get emotional. It's really about just listening to people and not being salesy, like just being authentic, being sincere, having integrity. I had that designation, like I said, of sales professional for 15 years, but I've never felt like a salesperson. And I think it gets a bad rap. I mean, if you're in business, you're in sales. And for me, it's just more about finding those win-win situations. Is this going to be a win for me? Is it going to be a win for them? If I make someone an offer to work with me, it means that I believe very strongly that I can help them. I put a lot of thought into it. Sometimes I'll meditate on it, I'll think about it. And if I'm inviting someone, like I said, then I strongly believe that I can help them and that I'm the best fit for them out there. And so I think that really shines through when you're talking to someone. They get that you're not just trying to push them into a service or add money to your portfolio. It's more about making recommendations that are sincere and very well thought out. And I think that's just always been what's really helped me is, I'm sincere and I get excited. Like when I'm talking to someone, I can see the path. I can see, what they can accomplish. And I feel like I'm part of the team. I'm very fortunate that I've had some of my clients say that they feel like I'm part of their firm or part of their business, even as an outside consultant, because I'm just as invested. And so I think when you come from that place, it's just really allowed me to just bring on a lot of the conversations that I'm able to have. So
That's so
I'm very lucky.
beautiful. It really
Yeah.
comes down to the wow clients, is what I'm hearing from you. And that's another reason that we're doing the wow client webcast. And people might say, well, how are you going to have wow clients during all of this? I got to take what I can get, Steve. I got to grab what I can. And time again, and hearing you say this right now is just a reminder to me that no, we don't. And in fact, it's more important when we only have a set amount of time. And like what we said earlier, in this conversation, that we have to be even more strategic during this time. And part of that strategy is wow clients. And that's why I do that webcast. Right now, we've been doing it absolutely free, and we've got a couple more coming up. So definitely, if you go, and we'll usually put links around this. So in whatever channel you're watching this on, whatever social media, just click that link and subscribe. And we're going to talk exactly about how do you only work with wow clients, and what are the steps to actually find those exact matches like you're talking about. Where do we create those win-wins during this time, during this economy? And I know that's one of the biggest takeaways. So I want to ask you, Stephanie, like learning that wow clients and the win-win process that allows for like what I like to call wow sales. So it's selling without selling. What does having that do for you?
I mean, that's everything. It's what allows me to just be excited about the work that I do and allows me to just give value to people, enjoy my projects, and also just have more of them. It's been everything, I think, to my success, to my happiness, to my growth. It's the only way, really the only way.
Well, and you know what allowed you to overcome it, if you can think in your mind, Stephanie, because when I teach this, I believe in this wholeheartedly. I've seen clients triple their revenue. I even have one client quadruple their revenue by only working with wow clients. And then it's the oxymoron. You're like, oh, I'm going to work with fewer clients. It doesn't mean fewer. It just means when you focus on the right ones, things grow, because I always call it the 4 R's. You get more results, you get more revenue, you get more raving fans, and then you end up getting more referrals. So it creates all this abundance. But there's a mindset reset, which you had alluded to as well. We think that that's not possible. We think we have to take whatever clients. Do you know, if you zoom in on that moment, if you can, what was the transition that let it click in and say, oh, I can do this? It's not going to make less clients. It's just going to be different.
I'm stubborn, and so it took me a minute. I remember after going to the Win-Win Weekend, so doing the WOW webcast, Win Weekend, and then even after that, there was a project that came up, and I had just this feeling in my gut where I was like, I don't know, but I felt like I was being pressured into taking on the project, but I had a feeling that it was not going to be a win-win, and it was not a win-win, and it was painful. I had to like learn that the hard way. So I think it was getting the learning. Some people I'm sure will go, okay, that's awesome. I'm just going to adopt that and that's what it's going to be. I had to go out and prove myself that that was the way. And so from there was no looking back.
Wow. Well, thank you. Yeah. So just seeing the yin and yang of it, like seeing the opposite as you learn, and then you found that to be possible, and now you've been able to thrive. And this has been amazing. And I hope these words really excite others out there to, make a choice. Ultimately, everything that you said was making a new choice. Like, okay, this is what's happening right now. And what choice am I going to make? Because there are a lot of things that are outside of our hands that we can't control right now. And then we can choose to curl up on the couch. And sometimes, I'm not saying you don't need to take breaks,
It
but we
happened.
can also make choices to do what you've done. And so I just wanted to say congratulations. And I'm so appreciative that you came here to share. And I know a lot of other mompreneurs that would love to hear this, and many others, to know that they can make a choice like this too, and slow down and start really focusing on. It's interesting, we're slowing down to speed up our businesses. It's really
Yes.
interesting, another oxymoron, right, that we wouldn't have thought, but it's very simple principles. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's awesome.
Very,
Yeah.
very good.
Well,
Thank you so
thank
much
you so
for all
much.
your
Yeah, it's my
guidance.
pleasure. Yeah, thank you, Stephanie, for being on the show. And that this is the end of our time. So we will. So again, if you want to attend the Wow Client Webcast, it's absolutely no charge. And then Stephanie, I know you're active on social media. So as we post this out there, you can interact with both of us. Look forward to. Remember, these are every Tuesday at 2:15 Pacific time. I'm going to be bringing another guest that's actually making changes right now during this period of time, prospering in a pandemic. And look forward to seeing you next week at 2:15.